12,500 kilometres from central London to the Falkland Islands, so who can find this furthest outpost of the British Empire on a map? No, that's Britain. Can you tell me where the Falkland Islands are?
Yeah, down there.
Down there somewhere. What do you think about this row about the Falklands at the moment? Do you think it's important?
It's important to the people who live there, it's not very important to me.
It may sound harsh to the 3,000 islanders in the South Atlantic, but the truth is that the Falklands really don't matter that much to most people in Britain, compared to everything else going on in their everyday lives. So the point is that the relationship between Britain and the Falklands is really quite strange and in some ways quite distant. Children at school are hardly taught about the Falklands in either history or geography lessons. It only really comes up in conversation when England plays Argentina at football. And yet for the British establishment here in the government, sovereignty over the Falklands is a really, really important thing. When Argentina starts banging the drum about Las Malvinas, there's barely a whisper of protest at warships being deployed or Prince William volunteering to serve in the Falklands. Is this defence or aggression when the islands are so far from home?
It's a regional and global issue because they're militarising the South Atlantic one more time. Try as we may, we can't interpret it any other way. They are sending a destroyer, the word itself, that is huge and modern, along with the heir to the throne. We would have liked to have seen him in civilian clothes, not in a military uniform.
Something's changed though since 1982. Off the coast here, exploration has begun, which will yield billions of barrels of oil this year alone, which both Argentina and Britain could desperately do with. Hardly surprising, the Argentinian government has described British exploration as robbery.
Although it has hitherto been a conflict, a sort of Cold War, all about very, very old-fashioned nationalism and territorial acquisition and so on and so forth, and colonialism, it's now perhaps becoming something else. Oil, if it is established there in large quantities and exploited, is going to change that dynamic.
Britain continues to justify its military expenditure in defence of fewer than 3,000 people on the grounds that they're British and wish to remain so. A lump of rock in the South Atlantic may seem barely worth going to war for, but control of vast oil reserves, well, that sounds slightly more familiar. Laurence Lee, Al Jazeera, in London.